All right, Mark here again, folks. Cooking books and bringing the info. I put up the last video I discussed. I talked about personal responsibility, taking accountability, and things of that nature. And I kind of want to build on that a little bit more because some things have been revealed to me. And I use the word revelation because it's just it's nothing that I read. It's more like just again epiphanies, right? Revelations. And I think it's interesting because I think this information is very practical, and it can definitely, if anyone's under the sound of my voice, I think it's very practical, useful, purposeful, and it hopefully can help us as we journey along life's path and our own unique road of difficulties. Now, I want to title this video, "I Blame Me." I blame me. Blaming yourself is the most liberating feeling. There's a liberation that comes with blaming yourself, taking responsibility for all that happens to you in your life. Everything that happens to you in your life, it's first of all, it's not happening to you. You have to shift the perspective. Everything that happens to you is happening also for you. While it's happening to you, right? It is also happening for you. So it's very important that we understand the power that comes with taking blame, taking fault, taking responsibility for everything that happens in our lives. And it is so easy to blame others. It's extremely easy to point the finger at other people and to blame them for what's happened to you or happening to you. And let me explain something to you, right? If you watch any of my videos, I am a science guy. I love physics. I love the metaphysics. I love the quantum physics, the quantum mechanics, the quantum theory. I love studying all the various branches of science, and I'm a theological guy as well. I've learned to harmonize those two fields of knowledge. And let me tell you this: there's a science involved with taking responsibility, and there's a science involved with laying blame to others. And let me explain something to you. Jesus says in the Bible that the truth shall set you free. The truth shall set you free. Uh, Scientifically, right? When you blame others for your plight in life, plight is a nice way of saying position. When you blame others for your position, your plight in life, the fact that you're laying blame to them, remember words, every word you speak carries within it a certain power, right? Every single word that you speak has its own vibratory nature. That vibratory nature is energy. That energy is power. If I say you're the reason why I'm in this position, she's the reason why my plans failed. What you're doing, in essence, is you are giving that person uh, a superior position in terms of science. Scientifically, you're giving that person and putting that person in a position of, in a state of power and precedence over yourself. And what you're doing uh, on the other side of that coin is you're putting yourself in an inferior, subjugated, servile, and submissive position to the person you're blaming your problems on. If I say she's the reason my plans failed, by default, scientifically, I'm putting her in a position of power, and I'm putting myself in a position of inferiority and her in a position of superiority. Because what I am saying, in effect, is that you have power over my plans. When you say you're the reason my plans failed, I am saying, in effect, what's not being spoken is that I'm saying you have the power over my plans and you determined the outcome of my plans, therefore the outcome of my life, situations, and circumstances. This is the unspoken language. This is the unspoken scientific language that's being exposited when I say she's the reason why I'm in this position, right? Okay. Why is that? Again, your words carry power. On a scientific sense, when I speak these words, again, you are the reason why I'm in this position. Scientifically, right? Or better yet, metaphysically, right? Beyond matter, right? Beyond physical. I'm actually transferring, right? Thermodynamics, first law of energy, neither destroyed nor created, just transferred or transformed from one entity to the next, right? We all read this, I think, at some point in our chemistry or biology or whatever class. What you're doing metaphysically is you're transferring energy, the energy of whatever your plans. Let's say you say she's the reason your plans failed. So the energy that would build your plan or would sustain your goals, that energy you're transferring to the person who you're laying blame to. And that person now is empowered over your plans, over your goals, over the outcome of your life. This is called metaphysical or fourth, fifth dimensional thinking. So that person has been transferred a tremendous amount of energy that now, unbeknownst to them, because this is metaphysics, right? So most people are not even aware of this, that this is what's going on behind the scenes. And I'm speaking to you in very lay terms so that we could all understand. I don't want to use metaphysical and scientific jargon because that'll confuse and confound you. Be quick to bewilder and befuddle you. So I want to use lay terms so that you can understand it and make it applicable. So the transference of this energy, right, to this person, and that person now who doesn't have your best interest at stake, right, are now having this energy that you're transferring to them. And the way you transfer this energy is by being angry with them, being mad at them, right? Because your anger and your madness and your angst and your animosity, it emanates, right? It's emanating. And this emanation of this anger, this angst, this energy is all being transferred to that person. And remember, we're all energy, all of us, every human being. Don't look at my physical. My physical is the manifestation, the expression of energy solidified or coagulated. I am coagulated. I exist in a coagulated state or coagulated form of energy, all of us. So when you transfer this energy to someone, you're transferring it to their energy body, their ethereal, their etheric body. The person doesn't have your best interest at heart. That energy now is going to continue to come back to you now, right? Transference of energy. That because that person does not have your best interest at heart. You're at war. You're at opposition to the person. Whatever. You broke up with that person. So there's a polarization there. That person is going to send that energy back to you to continue to destroy your plans. It's going to reinforce your plans or your plight, your state in life. And this is the metaphysical. This is how it works. So this is why it's so important to not blame other people. Because when you blame them, in effect, in essence, you're giving them the authority, you're giving them the rights, you're giving them your energy, you're giving them your power over your life. And it took me some time to get here. Again, like I said, I'm learning daily. I believe in evolution. I evolve every day. So I'm evolving scientifically, mentally, spiritually, intellectually, and so on and so forth. And I'm starting to understand this, and I'm learning this, understand this. So, but here, so that's the so that's the consequence of blaming others. Now, here's the beauty. Remember, I did a video in times past where I spoke about the duality of wave wave particle duality. And wave particle duality is just a fancy way of saying everything has a polar opposite: sun, moon, night, day, up, down, left, right. So everything travels in pairs, but in opposition. Yes, no, no, yes, right? So everything travels in pairs. And this is because we live in a three-dimensional existence, right? Length, width, height. So everything has its peers, but in opposite, right? An opposing pair. You have a coin. It has heads and it has tails. You have a battery. On one end, on one terminal, you have a positive. The other, you have a negative. Negative, positive. Polar opposites, right? So, that right there, having that understanding, when you carry that over now, I just told you guys about what happens when you give blame, when you lay blame to others for your plight in life, what's going on metaphysically. Now, that metaphysical action that I just explained to you guys has its polar opposite, because remember, everything travels in pairs. So if that's going on by transferring your energy and your power to someone else, by blaming them, something else is simultaneously going on too on the opposite end of that spectrum. And that's what we need to get. We need to get to the opposite end of that spectrum. Now, if blaming people is on this end of the spectrum, what's on the opposite end? The opposite end is you blaming yourself, not blaming people, taking blame, putting the blame on yourself, being responsible for everything that happens to you in your life, good, bad, or indifferent. You have to be responsible. Now, here's the beauty. When you do that, when you learn to take responsibility and you blame yourself, there's all kinds of magic that goes on too, right? I just explained to you all that goes on when you blame others. When you blame yourself, you wonder why I'm doing this a lot. My back's tight, went to the gym, so everything's kind of burning me right now. Had an intense workout. So, anywho, when when you blame yourself, when you take responsibility for everything that happens into your life, remember I said when you blame others, you're transferring the power to them. And what's the opposite of that? Everything, again, dual nature of everything, right? When you blame yourself, you're actually investing the power. You're taking the power away from those who you would normally blame. You're taking the energy, you're taking the power away from them, and you're investing it within yourself. You're taking all the energy, all the power that you would bestow upon others, blaming others and blaming yourself. You're now taking all that power and you're consolidating that power, finding that power within your vessel, yourself. And when you do that, there is a feeling of liberation, right? There's a feeling of emancipation, right? And the metaphysical explanation for the liberation and emancipation that comes with that energy investiture, or the invest in the energetic investiture within yourself. That feeling, the reason why you get that feeling of liberation, emancipation, and freedom, and so on and so forth, is because what you're doing is, with unbeknownst to you, what you're doing is you're cutting soul ties. You're cutting etheric cords. If I go into a business partnership with you, not only am I intent, it's called commingling of assets, right? You deposit this much, I deposit that much. You sign this, I sign that. We're commingling our assets to a goal, whatever the goal is. We want to start a company, we want to start a business, we want to open up a swap meet, a strip mall, whatever, right? That we're commingling our assets, okay? Not only are you commingling physical, tangible assets, you're also commingling your etheric assets. Your etheric assets are your spiritual cords or your soul ties. You're commingling your energy, your ties with other people. The person in the business venture that you're getting, the capital venture that you're getting ready to go into, you guys are soul tying as well. Not only are we tying up our finances together, but we're also tying up our etheric energy cords together as well. So we're tying up all these cords, right, ethereally, right, or spiritually. When you take blame, you start cutting those cords, those invisible cords that are unseen to the naked eye, uh, but are very much present, begin to be scissored. You're scissoring those cords away, taking blame, taking responsibility, owning your plight, your position, your station in life. You begin to liberate yourself from the etheric cords or the soul ties. If you break up with a girl, rather than blaming her, you break up with a guy. Rather than blaming the person, if you blame yourself, you start to cut the soul ties. You begin to cut the ties, you cut the cords from all around you. You cut all cords, There's cords that are going in and out of our bodies, in and out of our brain area, our mind area, our spirit, our physical. There's all kind of cords that are being commingled with the person that you're in a business relationship with or a personal relationship with, right? And once you start to take responsibility when that relationship goes south or if that relationship sours, rather than blame the person for the business failure, so that person made the business fail, it was that, right, with that. When you take responsibility for yourself, it you begin to you cut all those cords. And there's a feeling, like I said, of liberation and freedom. And the quicker you can feel liberated and free, the quicker you can recover. And it's vital that you recover because you got to remember the law of regression. Everything regresses in time. This house, if it's not maintained, it will wither, right? It becomes what's called dilapidated, right? The roads outside. If the city doesn't maintain the roads over winter and series of events, the tarmac begins to erode. Then you have potholes and so on and so forth, right? So everything needs to be. If the garbage man don't come and take your garbage up, the garbage is going to pile up. So in life, everything naturally regresses. Everything, without exception. So you go through a breakup and you don't start cutting those cords as quickly as possible and owning your plight and your position and what happened, you own it. If you don't own, and I mean own it all. Here's the thing: own every iota. We're not talking about, oh, this was my fault, but this was that person's fault. This was my fault. This was that. Well, no, no. I'm talking about own every aspect. This is probably get a little bit mind bending. Own the things that you know 100% you had nothing to do with. That's probably gonna riddle you a little bit, right? Riddle me this and riddle me that, right? You gotta own every aspect of it, even parts where you know you're 100% right and you did nothing. Own it. Own every failure in your life. Own every. Don't blame nobody for nothing. And this is some powerful information because this is fifth dimensional, folks. This is higher consciousness, higher states. I don't know where it's coming from, but I would have never been speaking like this just a year ago. Years, a couple months ago. So I'll tell you, this is new to me, right? This is fresh, right? You have to own every single fault, failure, misjudgment, mischaracterization, everything that has an error next to it, you got to own. You got to say it's my fault. I own it. I claim it. And I'm telling you, there's an adage, an aphorism, which is a fancy way of saying it's just a jargon of saying a proverb, a regular saying, a general statement. And that general statement is never say never. Let me tell you, that is the biggest lie that has been manufactured in three-dimensional thinking in this plane of existence that we exist in to keep us dumbed down. You ought to say never, okay? You look, I'm gonna teach my daughter. Say I would never be a prostitute. You know what I'm saying? I would never take drugs. You ought to say never. You have to, let me tell you, when you own every aspect, when you blame yourself, don't blame nobody else. When you own it, I told you there's a liberation that comes with that, right? An emancipation, a freedom, a cord cutting, a cutting of your cords, right? But there's also a resolution that you get inside. You get this feeling of resolveness. You get this feeling of a determination, right? You get this willpower, right? Your will begins to get stronger and stronger, and this is called development. You're developing. That's all that's happening. You're being developed. The divine, not just developed physical. We're talking about your spiritual, your soul is developing, right? You're getting that godlike divine nature, the neocortex, the front part of the new brain. The reptilian brain is old. Most people exist in reptilian thinking, right? Because it's the reptilian, the limbic system, which is the emotional brain, fear, fight or flight, fear or whatever, and the neocortex, which is the new brain. Neo means new. It's the divine brain, the closest brain to God. When you start to own everything, don't blame nobody. You don't really there's an independence that comes with that. You begin to develop this independent frame of thinking. You develop this independent frame of being. You develop this state of being where you can say this will never happen again. You see what I'm saying? Like you could say this will never happen in my life again. Now here's the thing: it doesn't mean other things won't happen because with life, Job chapter 5, men are born unto trouble. right? Men are born unto trouble. I did a video on that in my last video. Job chapter 5, verse 6 and 7, right? Job chapter 14, I believe, verse 1. Man that is born of a woman his days are few and filled with trouble. So other troubles will arise, but not the ones that the business deal that you just went through and owned it. You owned every failure in it, and you man up, you woman up, you own it. You don't blame nobody else for his failure, even though it might be their fault. You might say, well, you, you you resist the urge because there's going to be a natural instinctive urge to blame others. It's natural, it's nature, it's part of your nature, it's in your DNA. We are conditioned, you're programmed. So don't think that it's strange, it's normal. It's like breathing, exhaling, it's just that simple, it's that natural. But you got to resist the urge to blame others and take full responsibility. And when you do that, like I said, duality, the other side, the other side of the spectrum, which is for you beneficial. This side of the spectrum behooves you. It's in your interest. It's beneficial to you. That other side of the spectrum gives you that strength, that determination, that resolve, that will, where you can say, this will never, ever happen again in my life. Other things might happen in my life that's outside of my control, but not this. And that can only come as a result of taking full ownership, complete culpability, comprehensive accountability, a holy responsibility. And that when you can do that, and then genuinely do that, sincerely do that, it's not an easy thing to do. And it's an art to it because there's anger, there's passion, there's resentment, there's bitterness, there's betrayal, there's going to be a lot of emotions. We're human. There's going to be tremendous, and you got to work your way through all those emotions. So it's going to take time until you can get to that place where it's like, okay, you start hopefully through prayer, meditation, spending time with your God and whatever. You'll there'll be epiphanies, lights going off in the what's called the neurons. Your neurons will begin to light up, flash up. Your neurons actually do light up because they're generated. Your neurons work off the electrical impulses in your brain, so they're all kind of flashes. And if you did like an X-ray, you can see them. But you'll see your neurons will begin to flash, light up. This is what the idea of a light bulb in cartoons they do. When you get a new idea, there's a light bulb over your head. If you watch cartoons, they always put like a little light bulb, and that means the person's got the animated character's got an idea. Well, the light bulb come from it's a caricature of what happens in the neurons, right? So you'll get the lights will start to go off, and you'll ultimately reach the point where you can blame yourself for everything. And I'm telling you, no one wants to take the blame. Let's be honest. It's so much easier to blame other people. Nobody really wants to say it's my fault. I was wrong. I did this. I screwed this up. I royally screwed up on this. It's you know I'm it's humiliating. It's embarrassing. People are gonna laugh at me. They're gonna say I got bad judgment. No one's gonna trust my judgment. No one's gonna want to entrust me to do anything. I'm gonna be ridiculed. I'm going to be held in derision. I'm going to be a spectacle, and people are going to spectate, and people are going to opinionate and talk about me, and nobody wants to be blamed. No one wants to take that blame. It's natural. Nobody, without exception. And when I say nobody, folks, understand I'm generalizing and I'm exaggerating a general truth. Generally, no one wants to be blamed. Okay? It's so much easier to point the finger at someone else for your problems. It's so much easier to say this this tax law is why I can't get ahead in life. This policy is why I can't get out of the ghetto. This legislative act is why I can't get on this side of the tracks, the other side of the tracks, right? This implementation of this law is why I can't move ahead in life. It's so easy, and we all do it to some form of extent. Right? I just gave some kind of like political reasons, but there's so many other reasons why what we find to blame and pick. But I'm telling you, when you stop blaming the things in life, the objects, when you stop blaming, I'm telling you, I can't. I'm not doing a good. I don't feel I'm doing this video justice because I can't even think of the right way to explain how My mind is not encyclopedic enough. I don't have the right thesaurus. I don't have the thesaurus to really pull out extract the right words to let you understand the opening that of your mind, your psyche. Your psyche begins to open. When you blame yourself, your psyche begins to open up. Right? It's like you enter another dimension of thinking, and your consciousness becomes more awake, if that's a good way to say it. Your consciousness becomes more expanded, and there's like a magnitude, right? Just you just become so aware, and then this new awareness gives you a new sense of direction, right? It gives you a new pep in your step, so to speak. And the anger and the bitterness, the angst, the resentment, all that stuff just vanishes. It dissipates into the ether. It goes out into the air, and new energies come because you cut those old cords. And the persons who you blame, they lose their state of superiority. Because again, you're not telling the person they're superior to you, but by giving them that authority that they're the reason why you failed, they're the reason why you can't get ahead, they're the reason why your life is is crumbling. You're putting them on a pedestal. You're saying this person has this much power over your life. This person has this much authority over your existence, that you're where you are because they're stronger than you. They're more powerful than you. That's what you're saying unspokenly, right? This is unspoken language. This is what you're saying subliminally, subconsciously. So take people off the pedestal. Don't blame nobody. Blame yourself. Blame yourself. Blame yourself. Blame yourself. Own it. Own it. The more you own it, the more you own it, you own it. You get what I'm saying? The more you own it, you own it. You own your destiny. You own your fate. You own your life. You own the path, the road that you're on. And when I say that too, again, I don't want to get outside of, let my imagination run away with me. At the end of the day, God owns everything. But when you begin to act and move in this way, God comes in, and through him, you begin to own your path, own your way. Because the Bible says the steps of a good man is ordered by God. You know what I'm saying? The steps of a good man is ordered by God. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. So at the end of the day, but when you begin to own and take responsibility, you step into another level of God, your God-like nature. Because remember, the Bible also says that God dwells within you. He said, know ye not that your body is the temple of the holy living God. So God lives in you already. When you now start to act, when you own your blame, and you blame yourself, you take responsibility, you activate, you elevate, you emancipate, you liberate the God divine nature that's already inside of you. I always want to make sure I bring that home, that God is there, because I don't want us to ever get outside of thinking, okay, we got this on our own. Because woe be unto me if I convey that message to anybody. Because we don't have this on our own. Without God, we done. Finished. Finito. The devil will have his way. So yeah, that's it. 28 minutes in. I hope this message was fruitful, purposeful, and it was definitely intentional. And I hope you can find it practical and useful. Till next time, if you like the video, you know what to do. Leave a like, share, leave a comment, whatever. Till next time, peace.